At the start, the Echoes of the Eye DLC appears to only take place in a single location, inside a massive cloaked ring world floating above the sun. Eventually, you find that sleeping with an alien artifact in front of a mysterious green fire transports you to a second location, on the moon of a ringed gas giant. Eventually, you uncover the true nature of this world, that it's a computer simulation of the Ringworld inhabitants' original home moon. This is the Dreamworld. Entering into the Dreamworld is pretty seamless. You go to the campfire, click sleep, close your eyes, and you're there. No loading screen. This means the Dreamworld is physically located somewhere within the base game scene. How is Outer Wilds able to make such a seamless transition? When you enter into the basement where these green fires are located, the game starts to load in all the relevant assets for the Dreamworld if you have an artifact in your hand. This saves memory when you aren't exploring the simulation, since it doesn't have to keep all these textures and meshes in memory. By starting the load when you enter the basement, instead of when you start sleeping at the campfire, these textures will already be loaded in by the time you actually make it into the Dreamworld. Here's an example of what it looks like if we skip over the preloading controlled by the basement. There are other places in Outer Wilds where this sort of preloading idea is used. The Nomai warp pads also do something similar to this. Since they can instantaneously transport you to another planet, it starts loading in assets for that planet when you approach the warp pad. Back to the Dreamworld. We can use mods to find out where it is physically located. The first mod I'm going to use is my Visible Stranger mod. This uncloaks the Ringworld, allowing it to be seen from the base solar system. If we enter the Dreamworld with this mod on, we can now see that we're just slightly below the stranger. The only reason why we can't see it in the sky normally is because we're outside of its cloaking field. What about the other planets? Outer Wilds is a very physics-heavy game. The orbits of all the game's planets are simulated in real time via physics forces, which I've touched on in a previous video. Because of this, the game can't just disable them when we're in the Dreamworld. They have to stay active so they can continue their simulation. If we activate the FreeCam mod, we can go and seek out these planets. Seems like we're just in an endless void, but then a planet pops up. We can also see that as we back away from the Dreamworld, it disappears. This is because when in the Dreamworld, it limits the distance you're capable of seeing. Normally in the game, this view distance is as far as it can possibly go, since you want to see the solar system at all times, no matter where you are. It would look pretty awful if the regular gameplay had planets popping in and out like this. I think earlier versions of the game actually had this problem at a certain point, and then it was fixed. I might talk about that in another video. It's a whole different thing. You can also see here that no matter what, the sun is kind of invisible. Unity's rendering system includes layers, where you can specify what layer a viewable object exists on, and then you can specify which layers the camera is capable of seeing. For some reason, when in the Dreamworld, our player camera can't see the sun layer. You can still see the planet layers. Since we're standing on a planet, we want to be able to see it, but the view distance is set to be short enough that we can't see anything other than the moon we're standing on, or the gas giant in the sky. If the view distance was a bit longer, then maybe you'd see, say, dark bramble popping up over the horizon every once in a while. There's another mod I created called Daydream, which allows us to toggle visibility of the sun layer, seen here with the sun in the sky, and also flips the Dreamworld around to face the sun and allows it to receive sunlight. I can also use the mod to just generally allow us to see the planets, which gives us a good idea of where the Dreamworld is hidden within the base game solar system. The Dreamworld isn't a round planet like the others in the game. It is a flat plane made up of 4 different above-ground segments, as well as an underground cavernous section. Only the segment that you're standing in is active at any time, and you move between the segments via these dark tunnels. Since it's entirely flat, it is oriented to face away from the solar system, so you never see the other planets, but you always see this blue ringed gas giant that the moon is meant to be orbiting. A little bit of a fun fact is that in the game's code, this gas giant is called the Visible Planet, which distinguishes it from the Ringworld, which is sometimes called the Invisible Planet. There's some interviews with the devs where they explain that the original DLC idea was for there to be, well, an invisible planet, So this is a nod to that.
For a while, the whole thing was just going to be straight up invisible. Like, not like you go through a cloaking field and now you can see it. Just straight up invisible all the time, but your scout can see it.
A fun side effect of the Dreamworld being placed exactly where it is a glitch used by speedrunners called lucid dreaming. You place your ship in a specific position within the stranger's cloaking field, then head to the Dreamworld. At a certain point in the time loop, as the sun starts reaching its red giant phase, the stranger automatically navigates beyond the radius of the impending supernova, causing your ship to be dislodged from its cloak. It starts falling towards the sun, but ends up colliding with the Dreamworld instead. This gives speedrunners access to their ship again, where they can re-equip their suit by going inside, which, as you can imagine, is pretty useful. I linked a speedrun in the description by PT Minsker from GDQ 2023, where he uses this tech. It's pretty cool. So there you have it. The Dreamworld is a flat planet floating above the plane of the solar system, just below the stranger. When in the Dreamworld, the rest of the solar system continues to exist, but reducing the camera range and keeping the stranger cloaked is sufficient to keep up the illusion of being in a different world. Big thanks to my Patreon subscriber Sushi for supporting these videos, and thank you for watching. Please, like and subscribe and all that, or leave a comment letting me know what Outer Wilds content you think I should cover next. Okay, bye.